definitely. I think it's a really valuable thing to look at and think about, particularly if you're thinking about how the industry keeps going and keeps bringing new partners and new brands into the mix. It's actually something that I was surprised to find as much of a challenge as I did, in a strange way. I guess my background, I've been kind of affiliates for about 7-8 years. I've worked on some really big brands, and recently we've had worked with some brands to kind of bring like an emerging brand, I would say, into the affiliate space. So they're not the biggest brands, but they've got a great base, they've got a site, they're already driving in other channels and wanting to find something new to bring revenue in. And actually, in my head, I was thinking, oh, it's really easy. Affiliates is great, we're just going to switch it on. And not necessarily easy, but it will be, we'll get it going, there'll be interest, we'll be able to start. And actually, I've learned quite a bit that actually it's quite challenging. It can be challenging for a smaller brand to come on board, compete in a crowded market with these great affiliates, but also other brands and brands with bigger budgets and brands that are able to, pay for big tenancies maybe because they're going to get the ROI because they've already got the brand recognition. And it's allowing these emerging brands to get that cut through, I guess, and be able to make a success of it. And actually, my biggest learning was from it is it's a bit of a long game to get started, and you have to be thinking of it about, like 6 to 12 months of really gaining that traction. We launched a brand, and it probably took us about 6 months to really crack it and start driving like consistent like revenue and sales. And actually, within that 6 months, we managed to get them to 8% of their overall marketing mix, which was pretty, healthy. But it wasn't instant, and it involved us being quite creative. And having to think of ways that we could make sure we were meeting their KPIs, but also actually we were making it an attractive proposition to affiliates, an attractive brand to promote, and getting people excited about a brand that maybe was a little bit less well known.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. So I know that you've created a list of a few points that we can go through. Potentially you could speak about the first one.
Yes.
Which is having realistic expectations.
Yes, definitely. As I say, that kind of ties into what I've just said of like my learning point. Even as someone who has worked in affiliates for a while, I was like, learning stuff that actually it's going to take a bit of time. It takes time to build. You're almost working on building a channel as well as building a brand awareness piece. And that's a brand awareness piece using affiliates for customers, building awareness with customers, but also with the affiliates. Like, you're approaching an affiliate cold and saying, create this brand, can I get on the site now? Well, affiliates are great. I always think they're really flexible. They listen, they reply, they want to work with you, but you have to kind of give them something and say that why it's a great brand, give them some USPs and kind of talk about the brand as well and see how you're going to work together. Mm-hmm. So I think really understanding that it's not necessarily for a smaller brand going to be an instant tap that you turn on. But if you work at it, if you have plans, and if you're willing to keep testing and trying and doing more things and trying again, you will get there. Mm-hmm. But you have to think of the long game in that first year and really building it up.
That makes sense. The next one was brand awareness and specifically getting creative around it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So I think affiliates are a great tool for brand awareness. You obviously, when you go on an affiliate site, you're exposed to their complete database. In the UK, for some sites, that can be as much as like 5 million users, which is a fantastic way to reach a huge amount of customers. But you're also one brand of many sometimes. So we had to really think about different ways of being able to do this. And part of that was thinking about what could we offer. As a smaller brand, we were able to be a bit more nimble, to able to offer different things. And we thought about the USPs of the brand. We thought about competitions for the affiliates users, so offering prizes. We weren't necessarily wanting anything in return. It was just a way of getting the brand to their users, educating them about something unique with the brand, and being able to kind of actually provide the affiliate with some extra content and a prize that they were able to use for engagement themselves. So there's things like that we had to think about. We also actually partnered really heavily with our network, AWIN, and just made sure that we were using all their tools. There's a huge affiliate base already there. Like, we put ourselves forward for things like Advertiser of the Month. Like, we offered really good incentives, we offered prizes, and we made sure we made the most of all those PR opportunities and really utilised it, because we recognised that we had to raise our profile on the network and kind of make that cut through and attract affiliates to our brand as well as reaching out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So the next one is flexibility.
Yes. Absolutely. So flexibility is around what you can offer affiliates. So affiliates is a two-way partnership. You know, as much as they're going to promote you and drive sales for your brand, there needs to be value that you're driving the other way. And actually, if maybe as an emerging brand, you might need to be a little bit more flexible with what you're able to offer and the tools that you're able to offer an affiliate to promote you. Some of the different things we've tried is obviously commission is the basis of most affiliate activity. So maybe being flexible with commission rates, offering a bit of higher rates on occasions, but also even just looking at things about like how we utilise tenancy payments. You know, it was challenging for us to pay tenancies all the time because it's a fixed fee and often it didn't always have the return. But we recognised that we did need to test certain things with certain partners to show that we were looking to invest. We also realised that we'd have to play a bit in the voucher code space and look at exclusive codes. But we looked at ways we could do that a bit differently. We looked at closed user groups for it, so targeting new customer bases. We looked at trying different kinds of codes and using them at key times and just seeing the value that they actually drove and the results. And again, what we see is a really high new customer rate, which was huge value for a small emerging brand. And it was all done within what was within their margins. And it was just really being completely flexible. Could we offer bespoke content? Could we offer a competition prize? What could we do? Could we create them a bespoke banner because we can react quickly because we're a small brand? And it's really thinking about that. You know, you need to give something back as well as the other way around.
It makes a lot of sense. And it actually seems to sort of loop quite nicely into the creative aspects of things as well. You know, that if you are sort of dealing with those disadvantages almost, you know, in the space, then you do have to sort of be able to take what you've got and sort of be able to move quickly with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you always want to do things within your means. Like you don't want to leave yourself massively tight on margins or like really struggling or creating a channel that isn't sustainable. But that means you do get more creative and you have to think, okay, we can't do that, but we can do this, and be open and work with affiliates. And I think that's probably the key. Like you don't want to create a channel you can't sustain, but at the same time, you are going to have to put that a little bit more in to give it that push to get going.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this is something I don't know a lot about, but having and setting out your terms, so potentially speak on that.
Yeah, so I think it kind of ties into that idea of making your program the most attractive it can be. When you're launching a new program, you're often in a really great position. You don't have the tracking already. You're about to launch the tracking, so you're in a position that you can make sure that you set your program up to be the absolute best it can be. And by setting it up at the basics with the best tracking, you know, really talking to the network, understanding what the different kinds of tracking can do and what they give you in the long term, and making sure they like future-proof you as well. Like making sure you put the tracking in place so it protects you a bit against things like this ITP2 update that came in. It means that you're making sure your program has that real foundation to be attractive to affiliates, and that comes from anything from the best tracking setup, so allow you to be nimble with commissions. Maybe you can pay on like assisted or influence sales, but it can also come from remembering the basics of affiliates marketing. Like affiliates want to get paid on time, making sure you understand things about how can you have the best payment terms, how can make sure you validate quickly. That again makes your program very attractive. It means that you're invested in your affiliates. It's all those kind of things that are the basics and the fundamentals of affiliate marketing. But maybe as an emerging brand, having that setup and having that strength in place in your tracking and how you actually just physically operate and do the processes can mean that you make yourself even more attractive again to a prospective affiliate that's maybe going to try promoting you or give it a go at promoting your brand or help you along the way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I guess that's actually not something that will come naturally to a lot of fast-moving companies, you know, to set up those processes. So
yeah, definitely.
That's a really, really good point.
Yeah, and I think some big established programs, it can be hard to go back and redo and re-enhance tracking and prioritize it because it's working. It's there, it's working. But there's so much value in making sure you've got that right setup to get that investment from your partners.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next one is have calls and create partnerships.
Yes. It sounds so basic, and I always feel like, oh, have partnerships, have calls, that's obvious, and affiliates. But actually, like sometimes it can be very easy just to get into the thing of just like email. But actually having calls alongside your agency, your network with the affiliate, and share your kind of like what you've got coming up, talk about what you want, learn about who the affiliates are. If it's a new program to you and it's a new channel for you, understanding who these affiliates are and talking to them and listening to how they can promote can actually spark ideas, spark ways of working. It can form new partnerships. Even talking to that affiliate that's quite small for you now, and maybe they're just they're a content partner and they're driving great traffic but it's not converting, picking up the phone and having those conversations and saying, we're getting used to this too. We'd like to form a partnership and see how we can grow together. It's so valuable, and it is the 101, I guess, of affiliate marketing. But it's something that if you start straight away, you'll be in the best possible position to make your program work for you.
Awesome. And I guess this one kind of leads on from that one, which was sharing and asking for opportunities.
Exactly. And for this one, I was a bit more like sharing. I was actually saying, be honest with your challenges. Like we found when we launched the program I was referencing earlier, that it was hard. I was like, I can't pay you £1,000 necessarily for that tenancy, because at the end of the day, we're not going to get the ROI, and we know we're not straight away, but it's hard for us to keep paying that every month.
Yep.
But what we actually look to do is just talk to them and say, like, is there anything you've got for emerging brands? Is there ways of working? How do other brands overcome these challenges? And what we were able to do was actually discover that they had like a solution. I think it was Top Cashback, a great solution for emerging brands, a great way of being able to get on the site and being able to actually work in a longer term way, smaller steps, build the presence. And then what we did is we built the presence up, we started getting great performance, and then we were able to start investing in tenancies. So don't think you have to always hide your challenges and pretend. Talk, share, and like hopefully together you can come up with a solution about how you can grow. Because I always find that's what's great with affiliates. They want to help you. It's the other way around. It is that whole partnerships thing again.